everything going. Jazz is what calms you down. It's not hippie hop and make it tired. It just makes you calm, relax, and cool. I love that.
Man, the Blues Festival was cool, man. I enjoyed it. It was a good show. Definitely it was a blues festival without, I didn't see many people looking like me there. But when you're doing music, man, you'll find that music is one of those things that it breaks barriers. It's just universal. It really is, you know what I mean? And though I look out in the crowd and don't see many people that look like me, when I perform, I just want people to feel. You know, I mean, it's easy to go numb now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easy to be numb now with, everything going on. So, if you can listen to the music I create and it make you feel something, if it make you feel like, dancing, feel like crying, feel like, whatever it makes you, just feel. Music is a timeline, man. Like, you can refer back anybody that there's a song that you can say a song to anybody on this planet, and I guarantee you it'll take them to a certain place. Everybody's got a song.
Oh yeah.
Whether you grew up in church and you got that one song you hear that your grandma sang, that somebody sang right now that take you back to your grandmama sitting in the pew, you know what I'm saying? Or, the first time you kissed a girl, the song was on, like, boom, every time you hear that song, you remember that first time, you know what I mean? Like, it's a good reference. It's a good reference for everything.
I like to play all kinds of music, blues was my preference. I started out in gospel. I play funk, I'll play R&B, I'll play whatever. And it's just like anything that young people do today. It shouldn't be just one thing. You should embrace and learn everything you can learn. Man, we just have to know that we're all connected, I don't care the color, the gender, the political, whatever. Folks, if they give in to that similarity, racism would be gone a long time ago. So what I feel when I'm performing is blessed. I was blessed with the art of music. And so why did God give me the gift? It gave me the gift to reach out and embrace people. So when you hear gospel singers in church and you hear singers singing this and singing that, the messengers, okay? They're trying to get you to understand and feel better and help you be enlightened, so it's really, I feel great. Now, I'm full focused on music. And that just gives you an example of what full focus on something can do. The minute everybody knew I was free and focused on music, here I am 72 years old now. And from 1990 to now, which is 2018, the phone is still ringing.
No, I was born in Fort Smith, Huntington, Arkansas. Moved to Fort Smith, joined the United States Air Force, and then they sent me to Spokane. And then 12 years later, I moved to Portland. July 4th, 1963. That's the day I arrived. Well, in Arkansas, in the South, you know where you belong, and you know what you can do, and you know what you can't do. I think I was 17 before I went in the front door of a restaurant, because in Arkansas, they had if you go to a restaurant, they had an entrance in the back where you could go in back and sit down. And they always served the same thing. It was called mulligan stew, which you take everything that you didn't sell the day before, you put it in and make a stew. Then you sell it, you know, to the blacks that come in. And regular people ate regular food, but you were able to get a bowl of soup. It's the underlying racism that happens in Portland. And it's controlled pretty good by the city and state and everything else. You know, everybody knows where they're supposed to be, but they make you think that you can do anything, but you really can't because of the redlining where you couldn't buy a house. You couldn't get insurance on a house if you bought one. So why would you buy a house if you can't get insurance? Let's go back up to the 50s when the freeway came through, I-5. All the blacks lived down where the Coliseum is now, and the Rose Garden. They lived near the water. That's where everyone lived. But the freeway came through, and that's displaced everyone, so they moved everybody north about Russell Street, all the way up to about Fremont, right in that area. Changes in the neighborhood started about 1970 for me, owning my nightclub on Russell, Williams and Russell. And they tore the building down in 1971. It's 2018, it's still empty. They just wanted the blacks out of there, and they did. They moved the blacks, I think it was 400, 500, 600 homes. People were displaced. Then they moved them a little further north and start moving east. And then as when the drug war came, everybody wanted the blacks, you know, you're in gunfire all night long, you know, you don't mind selling your house to get out. Now you go east. But then when the houses get run down with drug houses, and no one wanted to live in them, nobody wanted to live next to them, then the prices go down. And then the whites figure out, if I could buy a house for $30,000, which is worth $500,000 today, it's a pretty good deal. I have accounted for 94 businesses that used to be in the northeast area, and that is from Fremont to Interstate to Columbia to probably 33rd. Used to be almost 100 black-owned businesses. There's 5 left now. They've all been displaced.
So I come back over here, I got my kid, and we're doing this thing, and I used to sit on the porch. That's probably what Fawn was talking about. I used to sit on the porch, and I'll never forget, Anthony was like, Mom, what are you doing? I'd be outside at night. It's hot, I'd be outside. And I had my little TV out there. He said, Mom, why are you outside? I was like, oh, we used to do this all the time with kids, right? My parents would bring the TV outside. We'd all play kickball on the street right there. Those would be our bases. He said, Mom, look around. There are no people out here. And I was like, he's right. There's no kids. There are no kids around here. If they got their little baby on their backpack, they ain't got no kids out here playing. They ain't got no kids around. Like, you've been there all the time. You know my dog's name, but you don't know me. I mean, like, it's just the arrogance in things like that. It's the arrogance when a developer can tell people that have been in these homes, well, that's just progress, or I live in the Northwest Hills, and, you know, we just have to figure out how to live together. But you don't care.
Positive feelings that I get from our community rest in what we do ourselves for us, as opposed to being reliant on the government and the city and the leaders of the city to do that for us. I think we have to really understand history and know that what happened then is still happening now. And so I continue to see the same circumstances that existed that caused so many hardships for the Black community. Many of them still exist. I live with it every day. I work within that profile every day.
I'm Pi Disciple. I was born in Portland, Oregon, raised here my whole entire life, April 4th, 2001. And growing up here as a Black individual, you feel the racism, and it's almost uncomparable to other places because Portland has such a small town mentality in the sense that we're not developed, or that we're not underdeveloped or behind in times. But the racism here feels so passive.
I kind of see the behaviors of the city and some of the leadership in the city is pretty overt in terms of what they are doing. And I look at the history of what happened here, and I'm saying, you could probably do that once and get away with it, but you couldn't do it 2, 3, 4. This is time number 5. So how can what you're telling me that we should be doing is a positive for the community if the outcomes are all negative?
I've lived in Portland 17 years. And for the years that I've been conscious enough, which is from such a very young age, I felt it. And I felt the gentrification. And I felt the eye upon a community, upon myself, upon anyone with the same complexion as me.
So for me, cultural appropriation is when someone from outside of a group starts to use, monetize another group's culture, period. The earliest things that come to my mind is like immediately post-slavery. So blacks were creating their own identity. Their music was unique, and whites were gravitating towards it. And so you'd have these minstrel shows where whites would dress up as black people. And I think those are the simplest examples to point to. There was no honesty, no integrity in what they were doing. They were mocking black people. They were mocking movement, they were mocking sound, black speech, but it was profitable. And then as blacks became more respectable, the white artists who mimicked them became more respectable, but the outcome was just as insidious. They were profiting off of black culture. I think what we're seeing is a ripoff and a repackaging. It shows how systemic cultural appropriation can be. It can be what I would call deep-seated rather than just a bias. I'm always concerned about the financial aspect of cultural appropriation. I was watching a footage from Stephanie Mills, who's an excellent singer, and she represents a genre of black music that is distinctly black. And what she explained, what her experience has been, is that oftentimes whites will mimic that genre and benefit from it financially. And that impacts her and artists like her on a financial level. On a deep financial level. And so she simply stated that white society wants black music, but not from black artists. When there's a whole marketing team around a product, around an artist, to put that artist on a platform, and that platform is based on appropriation, then it becomes sick, and it becomes to me, it becomes criminal. To have someone from the majority group use another group's culture, for me, is just it can't be respected. It can't be explained in any regard. Oftentimes, I think that the label can be avoided simply by hiring or bringing in people from that culture.
My name is Vina Ford. I'm representing Black Girls Run. Black Girls Run Portland, yay! I am the ex-lead ambassador and also the person who started the group here in Portland. Black Girls Run started in 2008. It's an organization focused on women of color, more specifically African American, African Black women. Getting Black women off the couch and out into the world and movement, just movement of any kind. The two women who started the organization were both runners, and they would do a lot of marathons and half marathons, but didn't see a lot of Black women out there. They see Black men, but not necessarily Black women. And so they started this blog, which turned into a movement, which turned into an organization that now serves, I think it's somewhere around 200,000 women across the United States. I think we as people of color sometimes forget that open space is good for us. We get into our everyday lives. We're worried about our kids, we're worried about our families, we're worried about our jobs, we're worried about each other, and forget to sometimes take care of ourselves. So here at Grant Park, I know that Black Girls Run Portland comes here pretty often to do walks and runs, train. We walk not only around the track, but we walk around the whole neighborhood sometimes, anywhere from 2 miles to 8-10 miles, depending on the day and how we feel. And really, it's just to help you feel better about yourself. It doesn't matter your size, your height, how long you've been walking, or how short you've been walking. Just come out and move. That's really what we as Black people, especially Black women, should really consider. That taking that hour a day to yourself really does make a difference. Makes a difference on your own personal life, your career life, your professional life, and also in your family life. I think that it's not just about accepting people for who they are, but accepting people for where they are and being an encouragement to get them where they want to be. So it's kind of those elements of personal training that personal trainers do. They go, oh, you come in and they do an assessment of you, and then you say you want to get here, and they do what they can to get you there. I think we as people can do that same thing. We just have to expect that not everybody's going to be where we are. And the great thing I think about me in starting it here is that those women who only ran the block, they see me and I can share with them my story that I've done 3 marathons. I've done several half marathons and 5 triathlons at that, and can tell them that you can do it. It just takes time and patience. A couple of years ago, we took this core group of women up Multnomah Falls. As we were going up, people were singing and dancing, and all you heard was giggling up the side of the mountain, just giggling and laughing, and it was amazing. Like, I've never gone to Multnomah Falls and heard that much joy. It was truly Black girl joy. So the power, I think, that we have when we're in our joyous states, which usually comes because we're moving and because there's all the pheromones that are coming out of our systems, really just made me excited and happy.
America stands for freedom, yet immigrants are being told that they're aliens, drug dealers, thieves, rapists, human traffickers, and terrorists. They're never human. They're never people like us, who only want the best for our families. Yet we're seen as the bad people. We're seen as disrespectful people who whine about everything that's not handed to them. All we want is for our voices to be heard. It's 2018 and we're still having issues with people of color not having the same rights as the status quo.
Moving in and making arrests, federal police sweep into Southwest Portland, reopening the immigration detention facility, and tonight the standoff is continuing.
We found ourselves in front of the ICE office.
What the fuck?
I'm feeling scared right now.
Why are you feeling scared?
Because I've never felt safe around ICE officers. Never really liked them.
You know, ICE. Like, it's a scary word, you know? And I'm just like, what if I see ICE? And what if they try to come after me?
I would have never thought I'd be standing here at all. Just interviewing someone is scary for me. Interviewing someone who could potentially use their power to hurt others and me is pretty terrifying.
Since day one, it was always kind of a tense situation. But yeah, at 3 o'clock in the morning, nobody's out here chanting or blocking the street or anything like that. So it's not always tense. Yeah. But you never know what the other side is planning or doing. Immigration is an ongoing issue, so our job was to keep it open for business.
I thought that they came after bad people and like they helped like the country and like criminals and things like that. And then later on, I found out they didn't only come for criminals; they came for just people that weren't legal here, and like they didn't even have to do anything bad to anybody. But if they were from a certain country, he felt like ICE was gonna come after them. There are people with power who are more powerful than all of us, and I know that there's more of us, and by that I mean people who are against the immigration laws and things like that. There are a lot of people, but a lot of people are scared also. It's really hard to like stand up when you know that you could, there's a possibility that you could like get sent out to your country, get deported and things like that.
Stephen Essie told us about his experience while he was in the ICE camp. The people in the camp were fighting for what they believed in. They want their voices heard, something not many can do.
I came here to listen and learn, and I was listening to them, and I got some inclination about the challenges that they had to overcome. I was very impressed with them, actually. I was very impressed with a lot of the people I met there. I found the people very courteous, helpful. They watched out for each other, and I was very amazed at that.
Since we know what it's like for our parents and other family members to come here and like work every day and trying to like survive, like it gives us a different point of view. So that's why we have so much sympathy for the things that are happening with immigration, because we've seen it from like our own lives, you know.
Seeing kids who are younger than me almost in prison, I imagine, what if that was my little sister and I wasn't able to do anything about it, and my mom was just so worried about her, maybe she's never going to be able to see her again.
We like kind of made a plan. Like when the new president came to be, like everyone was afraid. I remember going to my conferences and my teachers were like giving so much support out. Like they were like even like emotional about it, you know, because it was just like a sad day. For for most people they were happy about it, but like for us we weren't, you know. And I feel like around that time like we had to make a plan.
It's like if something happened to my parents, I would have to stay with my older brother, you know. So it's how it is. There's always has to be a plan. If plan A doesn't work, then you go to plan B, and plan B doesn't work, you go to plan C. And you keep on going, you keep on moving and moving. You just can't give up.
Tell me why I'm falling. Oh. was close.